Hi, I'm Matt, and my talk is going to be on the Escobar Hippo problem and how it has actually affected me and my family. But first, I'm going to give some context on who Pablo Escobar was. He was a drug kingpin in Colombia, and he was the leader of the Medellin cartel, which was in his hometown. He was the wealthiest criminal in history and had about a $70 billion net worth in today's economy. And at the top of his height, he would make around $420 million a week. And to put that into perspective, Dr. Dre's net worth is about $500 million. So he was making his net worth in about a week. How the public saw Escobar in his hometown, he was actually considered a philanthropist. He gave back to his community a lot. And although he was an alternate member in the Colombian parliament, he was granted financial immortality from the Colombian government. So he basically swindled their government and could use any of their money for any of his projects that he wanted to do. He spent a majority of his money developing poor neighborhoods in his hometown. And how successful he was, Pablo Escobar had planes, helicopters, trucks, boats, and even had 2 submarines to help him smuggle cocaine into the US. And there's a map right there of how he would transport all of the whole cartel. He had so much money, in fact, that he owned an 8-square-mile estate with a go-kart track, a zoo, and a private airport. And in that zoo were 4 hippos. But on December 2nd of 1993, Pablo Escobar's estate was raided, and he was killed along with many of his workers at the time, which were either arrested, killed, or had a suicide pact or fled. But in the aftermath of the raid, the Colombian government found 4 hippos on his estate. They tried extracting them, but they were too dangerous to remove, so they wandered the property as it was raided right there. Fast forward to 2009, the hippos' population multiplied to 16, and one of the hippos, nicknamed Pepe, was ordered by local authority to kill him. And actually, one of my family members was right there. That one right here was one of the members that killed him. And once this photo reached surface, the world was pretty divided. On other hippo-related incidents, the hippos can be represented as a serious threat to fishermen and locals. There have been many attacks on many locals in or throughout Colombia, but none have been fatal as of now. In 2020, a hippo chased down a farmer and severely injured him, which almost promptly ripped off his arm. And actually in 2023, very recently, about 2 weeks ago, one was killed by an SUV. The big dilemma is, should they stay in Colombia? The hippos have potential to change their ecosystem, feeding heavily on plants and displacing native species in there. The critically endangered Dall's toad and the Magdalena river turtle are largely restricted, which is where their main home is. But because of these animals, they're currently being extinct, and they can't do anything about it. But in 2020, a study showed that there's an increase in nutrients levels in cyanobacteria, which basically kills certain fish in the river by these hippos. But on the other hand, many people have said that they should not be in here. There have been many studies shown why they should or should not be in here, but at the same time, one of them was studied in Africa, which is where they would be. The government's options right now is to either put about $4 million to remove all hippos and move them to Africa. One is to keep all the hippos just for the best to see, but right now the hippos population has multiplied to around 120. And either to kill all hippos and put them in a cage. What would you do?